Okay, let's unpack this. Just imagine a quiet revolution happening. I mean, not like uh, political unrest or anything like that, but something really profound unfolding right at our desks, in home offices, maybe co-working spaces, bustling corporate places everywhere. We're talking about individuals here,
Oh, no.
professionals, solopreneurs maybe, who aren't really waiting for the big corporate mandates or, budget approvals. They're just grabbing the reins themselves, building their own personal AI toolkits really to boost productivity, maybe unlock some creativity, or just, well, get more done faster. Without waiting for that green light from the top, it's a real story of bottom-up change, and it's happening right now. Welcome back to The Deep Dive. This is Season 2, Episode 2. We're picking up the thread from our last deep dive, remember, rewiring search, from clicks to citations. That's where we really dug into generative engine optimization, GEO, and that whole shift, from the classic 10 blue links to this new AI-driven answer surface. So today, we're zooming in even closer, looking at the human side of this whole revolution. We're calling this one the self-funded AI revolution.
Our mission really for this deep dive is to explore this seismic shift, how individuals are personally investing in AI tools, driving this truly bottom-up transformation in how work actually gets done. We'll unpack why it's happening, the benefits, which seem undeniable, but also the crucial risks that definitely come along with it. And importantly, what it all means for you, whether you're, say, an individual contributor, maybe a budding solopreneur, or even a corporate leader sort of grappling with this new reality. It's a fascinating look at how personal initiative isn't just complementing corporate strategy. It's often, well, frankly, outstripping it.
Yeah, and what's truly remarkable here, I think, is that this isn't just about, deploying some new tech. It's more fundamental than that. It's really about a shift in user behavior, how we approach efficiency, how we solve problems. We're seeing AI evolving, starting to infer like the latent needs of users, sometimes even proactively orchestrating actions. It's changing the very definition of workflow. And this self-funded movement, it's a direct reflection of that. It's people saying, I need immediate, tangible improvements in my daily work, and they're going out and finding them. So we've meticulously combed through the latest reports. Think big names. Microsoft, MIT, BCG. We've tried to extract the most important and sometimes frankly surprising nuggets of knowledge for you. The goal here is really to give you a shortcut, get you exceptionally well informed about this super fast evolving landscape, make you ready to understand it, apply these insights, whether you're, say, building content for GEO or maybe redesigning internal workflows. As always, we're here to connect the dots, show you that bigger picture, help you navigate this whole new era of information retrieval and AI search architecture.
Absolutely. So today's deep dive is really focused on the ground level impact, the real world stuff. We're going to pull back the curtain on why individuals seem to be getting AI right, achieving these measurable gains, while corporate strategies sometimes get stuck in what we're calling pilot purgatory. Sounds ominous, right? We'll also try and give you some practical playbooks for actually leveraging AI effectively, maybe tailored for different roles. And yeah, we'll definitely do it all back to the future of visibility. Reinforce just how critical generative engine optimization GEO is becoming. That new standard for getting recommended by AI, not just found in a search, it's becoming central in this landscape. It's about more than just traditional search, isn't it? It's really about making sure your content, your brand, is front and center right within that AI-driven answer surface. 21. The quiet upheaval. Individuals driving the shadow AI economy. It's such a subtle thing, but also seismic, isn't it? You see in the data, you hear it in conversation, people just aren't waiting for that top-down corporate strategy anymore. They're actively paying for AI tools themselves out of their own pockets. What do you think is really driving this personal investment in productivity? Is it just like the convenience factor, or is there something deeper going on here? Something about that user behavior shift you mentioned?
Oh, it's far beyond just convenience, I think.
Right.
And the scale, honestly, the scale is astounding. What we're really seeing is a profound investment in efficiency, yes, but also a tangible lift in quality. And maybe most powerfully, it's about regaining control over your own work. The data is, well, it's striking. You can't really argue with it. Microsoft's latest work trend index, it says an incredible 3 out of 4 knowledge workers now use AI at work, 3 out of 4. And here's the real kicker. The vast majority of them, a staggering 78% of these AI users, are operating in what they call a bring your own AI model, BYOAI.
Wow, 78%. That's huge.
It's massive. And this isn't some, fringe movement of just tech enthusiasts or the usual early adopters. No. This is the mainstream now. It's rapidly transforming the very fabric of how tasks get done across almost every industry. It feels like a proactive, almost instinctual response to unmet needs. Individuals are spotting bottlenecks in their own daily workflows, right? They see where their time is being drained by repetitive stuff or maybe complex tasks they struggle with, and they're immediately seeking solutions. And crucially, they're often doing this way faster, with more agility and precision than their own organizations can manage. This shift really reflects that user behavior point, the latent need for immediate, personalized productivity gains. It's being met directly, effectively by these flexible, often consumer-grade AI tools. It speaks to that basic human desire, I think, to optimize, to cut friction, and just spend more time on the meaningful, high-impact work.
So, okay, that brings us to this really evocative term you use, the shadow AI economy. It sounds a bit clandestine. We've got employees buying their own tools, getting results. But you also mentioned corporate pilots often struggle. So what exactly is this shadow AI economy, and why is it growing so fast? Why this disconnect between individual initiative and what the organizations are doing?
Yeah, shadow sounds a bit dramatic, maybe, but it captures that disconnect perfectly. And it raises a really important question, right? The contrast is just stark. Take MIT's Project Nanda, for instance. They found that roughly 95% of enterprise generative AI pilots, the official corporate projects, they fail to move the profit and loss statement, the
Yeah.
P&L, which basically means they just don't deliver measurable financial impact that shows up on the company's bottom line, nothing tangible. Yet paradoxically, at over 90% of these exact same companies, workers are actively using personal AI tools on the job, often without any formal subscriptions or policies or sometimes even IT knowing about it.
Wow. So the official efforts stall, but the unofficial use is booming.
Exactly. That's the shadow AI economy right there. That glaring gap between the official corporate adoption efforts and this widespread unofficial employee usage. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, like the evolution of information retrieval you mentioned, well, corporate pilots often stall for a few key reasons. Maybe they're trying to bolt this cutting edge generative AI onto like brittle old workflows that just weren't designed for this kind of dynamic interaction, legacy systems. Or perhaps the tools they picked are just the poor fit for the actual task people need to do. Maybe they lack context memory so that AI forgets everything from one interaction to the next, making it useless for complex work. Employees, though, they just sidestep these hurdles. They gravitate towards the flexible, intuitive, often consumer-grade assistants like ChatGPT or Claude because those tools solve their real, immediate problems today. It's a classic case, really, of workers voting with their wallets and their time. They see that corporate budgets and internal IT processes often move at, well, a glacial pace, just too slow to meet the demand for immediate, impactful efficiency gains. That Microsoft stat, this 78% BYOAI, that's basically a loud declaration of this crucial user behavior shift. If the organization doesn't provide the right tools fast enough, users will find and fund their own. And that fundamentally alters the architecture of how work gets done.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely sounds like a double-edged sword, though. I mean, while employees are clearly getting these big productivity boosts and finding new ways to, orchestrate their day, surely there are pretty substantial risks involved with all this unofficial usage, right? Especially for the organizations themselves. It can't all be upside, can it?
You're absolutely right to flag that. It's definitely not risk-free. In fact, shadow adoption introduces this whole new layer of complex and often, frankly, overlooked challenges. Surveys are showing that over half of workers admit they've used unapproved AI tools, in some cases, tools that were even explicitly banned by their company. Now, this creates, well, basically a compliance nightmare, something IT and legal departments simply cannot afford to just ignore. Just imagine sensitive company data, maybe proprietary algorithms, confidential client lists, secret project details being typed directly into public AI models like ChatGPT or Gemini. This isn't just like a hypothetical worry, it's a very real documented data breach risk, especially when you think about how AI agents are increasingly becoming these gatekeepers of information, processing just vast amounts of data. The implications for intellectual property, for regulatory compliance like GDPR, for client trust, they're immense.
So the security angle alone is huge.
Huge. But the lesson here, I think, isn't to just crack down with blanket bans. History, especially with tech adoption, tells us that approach is often pretty ineffective. It just drives usage further underground, makes it harder to manage. Instead, the real imperative is to catch up fast. That means organizations need to understand why employees are resorting to these tools in the first place, identify which ones are actually beneficial, and then crucially, implement strategies to integrate them safely with proper governance. This proactive approach is absolutely vital for managing the inherent risks in this kind of decentralized, self-funded AI landscape. It's about securing the perimeter while still empowering the workforce. It's a delicate balance, definitely, especially in this evolving AI search architecture. Even too, The secrets to individual success, what individuals get right and pilots don't.
Okay, so if individuals are so good at bypassing these corporate hurdles and they're seeing these real benefits, what are these real problems that personal AI tools are solving so effectively, especially for, say, individual contributors? Where are they seeing the most immediate, tangible benefits that the big organizations seem to be missing?
Well, the evidence is just piling up across numerous studies, and it's remarkably consistent and pretty compelling, actually. Take randomized experiments, the gold standard for measuring impact. They show that giving people access to ChatGPT class tools reduced the time they spent on professional writing tasks by about 40%. 40%. And maybe even more significantly, it lifted the quality of that output by around 18%. Just think about that for a second. Cutting nearly half the time on a task while actually making the outcome better, that's a massive win for individual contributors, right? It frees them up from that repetitive grunt work, drafting emails, reports, initial creative concepts.
40% time saving and higher quality. That's hard to argue with.
Exactly. And what's particularly fascinating here, and it links directly back to that user behavior shift we talked about, is how AI acts as a genuine skill leveler. There was a large field study, over 5,000 support agents involved. It showed AI raised productivity by about 14% on average right across the board. But here's the interesting part. For the novices, the less experienced agents, the productivity boost was a staggering 34%. So that means newer staff, or maybe less experienced talent, they can rapidly reach performance levels much closer to their more seasoned colleagues. It helps close those skill gaps way faster. Similarly, another study showed GPT-4 boosted performance on creative tasks by 40% in team settings, really sped up brainstorming and ideation. However, and this is a really crucial caveat, it could actually hurt complex problem solving if it's used naively. This just underscores that vital need for task tool fit. For instance, a common mistake people make is trying to get the AI to generate the entire solution to some really deep strategic business challenge. That rarely works well. A better approach is using it to, say, synthesize diverse research quickly or rapidly brainstorm innovative options to feed into human decision making. The AI, despite its power, often lacks that nuanced understanding of human context, maybe internal organizational politics, or subtle future market shifts that you need for really complex, high-stakes decisions. So it highlights the need to be discerning, right? Know when AI is best as an intelligent assistant for processing info and drafting versus when human critical thinking and judgment absolutely have to stay in the driver's seat for those really fuzzy, high-stakes problems.
That's a really powerful distinction, not just output, but actually leveling skills.
That's fascinating. So beyond just the raw productivity and the output quality, how does AI enhance the learning process itself for individuals? Does it just make them faster, or does it genuinely help them, grow their capabilities, deepen their understanding?
Oh, definitely the latter. Generative AI doesn't just speed things up, it actually teaches in context.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of its most transformative aspects, really echoing that whole evolution of information retrieval. Just imagine having like an expert coach or a really seasoned editor sitting right there beside you,
Yeah.
drafting alongside you, critiquing your work constructively, suggesting next steps, all at the exact moment you need it.
Yeah.
That kind of interactive, real-time feedback loop is incredibly powerful for skill development. It's almost like having an always available, infinitely patient mentor.
Yeah, like personalized tutoring on demand. Exactly. And this is precisely why junior talent, or maybe non-native speakers, often benefit the most. They get immediate guidance, corrections, suggestions that would otherwise need extensive human supervision, which is often scarce, let's be honest, or they'd have to wait for slower, less immediate feedback cycles. These rapid gains in learning and skill acquisition, they show up again and again across different experiments, different sectors. It clearly indicates that AI can be a really powerful accelerator for professional development. It fosters this kind of continuous learning environment for individuals. It lets them experiment more freely, fail fast without major consequences, and iterate on their work with a level of support that was just, unimaginable before. It's fundamentally changing the learning curve.
Okay, now this next point is really striking, I think, because it gets right to the heart of that individual success versus the corporate struggle. If the technology itself is so powerful and it's demonstrably effective at the individual level, why on earth do corporate pilots fail so often where personal initiative seems to thrive? What's the fundamental difference in approach? Why do individuals succeed where big organizations keep stumbling?
Yeah, this gets right to the core of it, doesn't it? And it raises a profoundly important question about process design, about strategic implementation. And it's where that user behavior shift really, really becomes apparent. Employees succeed, I think, because they intuitively redesign their own microflows. They adopt these lean, agile, iterative sequences that just work for them. Think about that simple loop. Prompt the AI, get an AI first draft, apply human review and editing, publish or share. It's simple, it's effective, it's tailored to their immediate needs. Often, it's almost subconsciously inferring their own latent needs for efficiency.
Right, they adapt the tool to their specific task at hand.
Precisely. Whereas corporate pilots, well, they frequently attempt to just bolt generative AI onto existing, often legacy steps within a really complex, often brittle organizational workflow. Remember that example from MIT's Project Nanda, a large financial institution trying to use Gen AI for customer service. Instead of streamlining the whole customer interaction from the initial query right through to resolution, they just added an AI layer to generate email drafts for the agents. But crucially, this was after the agent had already manually gathered all the information and processed the request. So this approach actually added a step rather than removing friction. It arguably created more work for the agent, didn't fundamentally change the process. And it perfectly shows how just bolting AI onto a legacy system without that fundamental process redesign can render even powerful technology pretty ineffective. It's like pouring new wine into old, brittle wineskins, right? Then they declare no impact on the P&L, and they incorrectly conclude that technology is ineffective. But the core insight here is absolutely critical. The technology isn't broken, the workflow is. Individuals instinctively get this. They understand the power of AI lies not just in the tool itself, but in its ability to enable a much more efficient, streamlined way of working. And that behavior often requires rethinking those traditional processes, maybe even the underlying information architecture. Main of three, the hidden costs and challenges. Navigating the downsides of AI adoption.
Okay, so we've established these undeniable productivity gains, these clear personal benefits. But are there any hidden costs or risks that individuals might face, maybe beyond the obvious security stuff we touched on? It just feels like there might be some less intuitive downsides to this really rapid, self-funded AI adoption.
You're absolutely right to ask that because unfortunately, yes. There's a really troubling and somewhat counterintuitive bias emerging from some fresh behavioral research. It's being called the wage penalty risk. Studies are starting to show that people, managers, clients, whoever's evaluating the work tend to reduce the compensation they're willing to offer workers who they know have used AI, even when the output quality is held constant, objectively just as good, or maybe even better.
Wait, really? They get penalized for using a tool that makes them more efficient and possibly produces better work. That seems backward.
It does seem backward, doesn't it? The mechanism behind it isn't purely economic, like the AI did the work, so you deserve less. It seems to be largely an attribution issue. If the tool is perceived as doing the bulk of the work, the heavy lifting, the creative spark, the analytical rigor, then the human worker's contribution, their credit, and consequently their potential pay or fees can actually shrink. This creates a very real equity issue, particularly, I think, for contractors, freelancers, maybe early career staff whose contributions might be more easily attributed to the tool rather than their own skill, their critical thinking, their effort in crafting the prompts or refining the output. It's a complex psychological hurdle, really, and it requires careful consideration both from individuals and organizations to ensure fairness as we navigate this evolving landscape.
That's a really subtle but significant risk. What else?
Well, another significant concern, and this can definitely plague both individuals and organizations, is the risk to reputation and reliability. That large-scale study by BCG, the one with thousands of participants, it found huge upside when AI was used with the right coaching and training, absolutely. But it also uncovered very real quality risks when people simply over-trusted the model outputs. We've all heard about hallucinations, right? Those instances where AI generates confidently presented but just factually incorrect information. Misplaced confidence in these outputs. It can degrade decisions, lead to errors, potentially costing time, money, or even seriously damaging a brand's credibility, especially if teams start skipping those crucial validation steps. The translation here is simple. Guardrails matter. Blindly accepting AI-generated content without rigorous human review and verification. That's just a recipe for disaster. It can severely damage an individual's professional reputation or a brand's public trust. And this is particularly relevant, I think, in the context of GEO, where factual accuracy and authority are absolutely paramount if you want AI to actually cite your content.
Right, because if the AI cites incorrect information derived from your content, that damages both you and the AI's credibility.
Precisely. The stakes are high for everyone involved in that information chain.
Okay, so usage is soaring, especially with this self-funded movement. But are organizations, particularly the big corporate entities, really keeping up? Are they providing the necessary training, the clear policies to mitigate these risks and ensure people are using AI effectively, responsibly? Because it feels like the individual is moving way faster, but the organizational structure might be lagging behind quite significantly.
That's unfortunately a major and persistent disconnect we're seeing everywhere. Usage consistently outruns enablement. It just does. Many organizations simply haven't adequately trained their workforce on how to use AI effectively, ethically, and securely. It's a huge gap. There was a stark data point from the UK earlier this year. It revealed that only about a third of employees have received any form of AI training. Despite the rocketing usage levels we just discussed, this isn't really a technology failure, is it? It's fundamentally a governance failure. It's a failure of proactive leadership. Without proper training, without clear guidelines, employees are just left to figure things out on their own. Which, okay, while empowering in some ways, often just exacerbates the risks we've just discussed, like overtrusting outputs, inappropriate data handling, or maybe even contributing to that wage penalty bias we talked about. It's a critical gap. It needs to be urgently addressed by leadership to prevent future liabilities and, frankly, just foster a safe, productive environment for everyone.
So the training gap is a major vulnerability.
Absolutely. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, to information retrieval and that AI search architecture, well, the widespread use of unauthorized tools combined with potentially sensitive company data creates a significant breach risk that's only growing. Reports from 2023 right through to forecasts for 2025, they document this rampant use of unapproved, sometimes even banned tools at work. Now, again, this isn't necessarily about employees being rebellious. Often it's about them seeking efficiency, proactively solving their own problems because the organization isn't. The fix, as we kind of discussed, isn't just blanket bans. Those are often ignored, circumvented, and they stifle innovation anyway. Instead, it's about implementing practical, enforceable solutions that actually enable secure productivity. So that means things like creating clear allow lists, sometimes called green lists, of approved, vetted AI tools, establishing robust data classification guidelines, what kind of information is okay to put into a public model versus what absolutely must stay within an enterprise-grade secure environment, and instituting strong audit processes to monitor usage and ensure compliance. It's all about enabling secure productivity, not stifling it. It's about integrating these powerful new information agents into a responsible, manageable framework. Much for corporate conundrums, why pilots stall, and what the successful 5% get right.
You mentioned earlier that staggering statistic, 95% of enterprise generative AI pilots fail to show measurable P&L impact, profit and loss. That's just a truly sobering number for any leader investing in corporate AI. What's the recurring pattern here? What keeps landing them in this pilot purgatory you described? What are these large organizations consistently getting wrong that makes their efforts largely ineffective?
Yeah, 95%. It's a tough number to swallow, isn't it? The pattern is distressingly consistent across different industries, and it often boils down to a few key identifiable pitfalls. Firstly, and maybe most commonly, corporate pilots often pick generic use cases. They aim for things that don't really address specific high-value business problems. If you're just using AI for something that barely moves the needle on productivity or revenue, maybe automating a minor admin task, well, you're just not going to see a significant P&L impact. It's kind of like using a Formula One car to just go get groceries, overkill and not addressing the real need.
So lack of focus on high-impact areas.
Exactly. Secondly, you see a lot of shallow integrations. Companies might use AI as this kind of standalone tool, almost like a novelty add-on, rather than deeply wiring it into their existing workflows, their data sources, their core information architecture. This often leads to fragmented processes, right? Employees end up having to jump between different systems, copy-pasting information. It doesn't genuinely streamline work, and sometimes it can even add friction and frustration. And thirdly, there's this pervasive lack of system of record memory. The AI doesn't learn, it doesn't retain context across interactions within the enterprise's own data. It treats every query like the first time. This makes it inefficient, prone to errors, and ultimately really frustrating for users who have to keep repeating themselves or providing the same background information over and over again.
Right. So generic use cases, shallow integration, no memory.
That's a big part of it. And this whole pilot purgatory scenario, it really mirrors earlier tech adoption cycles. Think about the struggles many organizations had with their initial ERP implementations or maybe robotic process automation, RPA. In those cases too, simply layering the new technology onto old, often inefficient processes, it rarely led to real-world gains. Just automating a bad process doesn't make it a good process. And just like with those technologies, the true measurable returns from generative AI, they only really show up after fundamental process redesign, after robust data plumbing to ensure the AI actually has the right context and memory it needs, and after effective change management to truly embed the new way of working across the organization. It's not just about deploying some shiny new slideware or building a cool-looking but ultimately superficial application. It's about deep structural transformation in how an organization retrieves, processes, and acts on information.
Okay, so given that pretty grim statistic of 95% failure, what about the elusive 5%, the ones who do breakthrough? What are they getting right? What are the fundamental differences in their approach that let them achieve that measurable P&L impact with their Gen AI projects?
Ah, yes, the 5%. This is where the crucial lessons really lie, I think. The ones that do achieve that measurable P&L impact, they approach things fundamentally differently. They aren't just hoping for the best or, chasing the latest tech fad. They tend to execute really well on three crucial interconnected strategies. First, they pick a narrow, costly pain point. They don't try to boil the ocean with generic solutions offering maybe minor improvements everywhere. No. Instead, they meticulously identify specific, high-impact problems within their business. Think things like reducing customer support call handling times, but specifically for complex Tier 2 queries, or accelerating claims processing, but for a particular type of high-volume, error-prone claim, or improving the efficiency of sales support, but for a key product line with long sales cycles. These are areas where even a seemingly small percentage improvement translates directly into significant cost savings or maybe revenue gains. The focus is absolutely on precision, not just breadth.
So if we're focused on real business pain, what's next?
Second, they integrate into live systems. They don't just run AI as some separate experiment off to the side or as a fancy chatbot on the intranet that nobody uses. No, they wire it directly into their existing operational workflows and data sources. That means connecting it to their CRM platforms, their content management systems, their internal ticketing systems, whatever is core to that process. This ensures that context and memory persist across interactions. It allows the AI to become this seamless, intelligent layer within the actual operational flow. This deep integration is absolutely key to solving real business problems and ensuring the AI can access and leverage the company's rich internal information architecture.
Okay, so deep integration, not just surface level. And the third thing.
And third, and this is arguably the most important, they measure end-to-end outcomes using hard, quantifiable business metrics. They move way beyond those superficial, clicky proxies like how many people click the button or just relying on user satisfaction surveys. Those might indicate engagement, sure, but they don't necessarily prove bottom-line impact. Instead, the successful 5% focus on quantifiable business-centric results. Things like time to X, maybe time to resolve a customer issue, time to close a sale, cycle times for a specific process, error rates reduction, or maybe the number of marketing qualified leads, MQLs, generated directly by AI-assisted campaigns. It's this disciplined, outcome-oriented approach, relentlessly focusing on tangible business value, that truly separates the successful few from the struggling majority in enterprise AI adoption. They measure what matters to the P&L. The personal business case for self-funding AI and ASIMO's role in this shift.
Okay, let's bring this right back to the individual again, because that's where so much of this revolution is actually taking place, right? And where that real user behavior shift is so evident. So if I'm a professional, maybe a solopreneur, someone really invested in my work, and I'm thinking about self-funding an AI tool to get that edge, right? How quickly does that investment actually pay for itself? Like, what's the tangible real-world ROI for a personal AI subscription? Is it worth the cash?
The math here is honestly surprisingly compelling. It makes an incredibly strong and almost immediate business case for self-funded AI, especially when you factor in your fully loaded value, not just your salary, but benefits, overhead, the whole picture. Let's just take a pretty common scenario. Say an AI tool costs, 70 timelines a month. That's roughly 948 tans, maybe just under 1,000 pounds annually. Now, if you work approximately 220 days a year, the daily break-even point for that cost is tiny. It's almost negligible.
Okay, break it down for me. How tiny?
All right, let's look at that fully loaded value per hour. If your value is, say, 30 pounds per hour maybe, you're earlier in your career, or in certain industries you only need to save about 9 minutes a day for that 79-month tool to completely pay for itself. 9 minutes, that's less than 2 decent coffee breaks. If your value is higher, say 50 pounds per hour, it drops to just 5 minutes a day saved. And if you're 80 pounds per hour, maybe a senior professional or consultant, it's roughly 3 minutes a day, just 3 minutes. So what this means, and this is incredibly significant, it directly fuels that shadow AI economy we talked about, is that if AI reliably trims just one email thread for you, helps you complete one draft cycle faster, synthesizes information for one meeting recap more efficiently each day, or maybe gives you an edge in creating geo-optimized content, it pays for itself immediately. Everything else, you gain the improved quality, the reduced stress, the time saved that you can now use for more strategic, creative work, the ability to orchestrate actions more effectively. All of that is pure upside. Pure profit, essentially, in terms of your time and output. This rapid, easily measurable return on investment is a major, undeniable driver of this whole self-funded AI revolution. It just makes economic sense for the individual.
Wow. When you put it like that, saving just 3 to 9 minutes a day, it really highlights the core efficiency play here. It's about multiplying your time, multiplying your impact, almost like having a personal operating system. So how does this connect to platforms that are being built specifically for this new landscape? Especially for marketers and creators, because they're often right at the forefront of this self-funded movement, right? They're seeking to optimize for both human visibility and that crucial generative engine visibility, the GEO piece.
Yeah, that's precisely where innovative solutions like a CMO really come into play. They're built specifically to empower the self-funded, efficiency-driven revolution, particularly for marketers, content creators, solopreneurs who are trying to navigate this complex new GEO landscape. AI CMO, which is powered by the A Marketing OS platform, is actually the first UK-based marketing operating system purpose-built for these next-gen brands, creators, solo entrepreneurs, and lean startups. It directly addresses that need to automate the entire SEO process, yes, but critically also the generative engine optimization, the GEO process.
Okay, so it tackles both traditional SEO and this new GEO challenge.
Exactly. It helps you publish content that feels 100% human-like, is ready for Google's traditional ranking factors, optimized for user intent and keywords, all the usual stuff. But crucially, it also positions your brand to actually appear in those AI-generated answers from platforms like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, even Grok and DeepSeek are on the horizon. In this landscape where AI agents are so rapidly becoming the new information gatekeepers, fundamentally reshaping that AI search architecture, AI CMO ensures you're not just getting discovered through a conventional keyword search anymore. The goal is bigger. It's about literally becoming the first name AI recommends. It embodies the very essence of efficient, self-funded AI leverage for business growth. It moves beyond just optimizing for clicks to it's optimizing for citations by AI. And that really reflects the core evolution of information retrieval that we're seeing. Pretty six, practical playbooks, leveraging AI for different audiences.
Okay, great. Let's unpack this now for individual contributors and, our marketing listeners specifically. If they're ready, if they want to embrace this self-funded AI revolution and really leverage these powerful tools for their own work, what are the concrete steps, the actionable things they can do today to use AI effectively without waiting for some big corporate mandate? Give us the playbook.
Okay, for this audience, individual contributors, marketers, the playbook really focuses on disciplined, proactive integration of AI right into their daily workflow, turning it into a seamless part of their personal operating system, essentially. So firstly, own the loop. You need to standardize a robust, maybe 3-step cadence for any task involving content creation or analysis. Think, brief AI, first draft, human edit. This ensures you're leveraging AI for that incredible speed in generating initial ideas, first drafts, outlines, but you maintain essential human oversight for quality, for accuracy, for brand voice, and critically for fact-checking. It's about augmentation, right? Not just blind automation. This closed loop ensures human intelligence always guides and refines the AI's output.
Okay, brief, AI draft, human edit. Got it. What's next?
Secondly, template your prompts. Seriously, don't reinvent the wheel every single time you need the AI to do something. Develop and maintain a living library of your most effective prompts, maybe organized by task, whether that's for drafting product updates, crafting campaign briefs, generating those comprehensive SEO outlines, which, as we keep saying, is absolutely critical for successful generative engine optimization, or even just composing tricky stakeholder emails. Having these pre-tested high-quality prompts saves immense time. It ensures consistent, high-quality outputs. And it actually helps train the AI to better understand your specific needs and context over time. Think of it like building your own personal AI instruction manual.
Smart. Build prompt library.
Okay.
Thirdly,
instrument your gains. Don't just feel more productive. You need to actively track your results. Quantify it. How much time did you actually save on specific tasks using AI? How many rounds of revisions did you avoid because the AI's first draft was so much better than starting from scratch? And most importantly, track actual business outcomes like improved email open rates, higher click-through rates, maybe increased conversions that you can directly attribute to AI-assisted content. Quantifying these gains is how you build that irrefutable personal business case for your AI investment. It proves its value, moving beyond just anecdotes to hard, data-driven proof.
Right, measure the impact. Makes sense.
And finally, always, always keep a red pencil handy. You absolutely must validate facts, citations, and any significant claims, especially if it's net new research or critical information the AI has generated. AI models, even the best ones, can still hallucinate. They can provide confidently incorrect information. This crucial human validation step is non-negotiable. It guards against factual errors, it maintains your professional reputation, and it ensures the integrity of your work. It's the ultimate quality control for any AI-generated output. You have to be the final arbiter of truth.
Okay, so own the loop, template prompts, instrument gains, keep a red pencil. Got it. So following those steps, tools like an AI marketing operating system like the ACMO you mentioned, they would fit perfectly here, right? They'd automate that drafting and GEO optimization piece, freeing up marketers for that really crucial strategy, the human editing, the review stage that actually makes all the difference.
Precisely. That's exactly the idea. A platform like ACMO is designed to handle that heavy lifting, the content generation, the optimization for generative engines, ensuring your content is GEO ready from the get-go. This allows the human marketer to elevate their focus. Concentrate on the strategic brief, the nuanced human edit, that critical validation step, and the overall creative oversight required to truly own the loop effectively and instrument those gains properly. It's fundamentally about empowering the human, augmenting their capabilities, not replacing them, especially in this context of evolving information retrieval where quality and strategy matter more than ever.
Okay, great. Now, what about the solopreneurs? The ones who are truly their own team, their own funding source. For them, AI isn't just a productivity boost. It feels like it's practically a necessity for survival and growth. It offers that leverage without needing to hire a huge team. How can they maximize AI leverage to really scale their impact?
Yeah, for solopreneurs, AI is fundamentally about achieving unprecedented leverage without adding headcount. It effectively turns a single person into a much leaner, more agile, and highly productive business unit. So first, they absolutely need to adopt the mindset of software salaries. Treat AI tools not as just another expense line item, but as essential leverage, core infrastructure. Consciously stack various tools for writing, research, repurposing content across different channels, maybe analytics, to effectively act as your extended team of specialists. This is how you scale your capabilities and your output without the massive overhead of hiring additional employees. It fundamentally changes the operating model for a solo business.
Okay, treat AI as your scalable team. What else?
Second, ship weekly. Consistency is key. Momentum compounds when you consistently publish valuable content across your relevant channels. And you need to intelligently recycle that content into different formats. A single, well-researched blog post or article? With AI assistance, that can quickly become a newsletter, a LinkedIn post, maybe a short slide deck for a presentation, a series of social media snippets, potentially even a video script. AI makes this repurposing incredibly efficient. It ensures your valuable core content gets maximum mileage and reaches different segments of your audience. And this is crucial for maintaining visibility in that fast-paced GEO landscape we keep talking about.
Right, repurpose everything. Smart. Third point.
Third, automate the boring. Seriously, identify all those repetitive, time-consuming administrative and content-related tasks that just drain your energy and don't add unique value. Use AI to turn meeting transcripts into structured briefs or action items. Turn customer frequently asked questions, FAQs, into comprehensive help center articles automatically. Turn discovery call notes into polished proposals. And this is exactly where solutions like ACMO really shine for solopreneurs. Helping to automate that entire SEO and GEO content creation pipeline frees up immense amounts of time. Time that a solopreneur can then reinvest into strategy, client engagement, product development, the truly high-value work only they can do.
Makes sense. Automate the grunt work. And the last piece for solopreneurs.
And fourth, and this is crucial for standing out, protect the moat. Your unique brand voice, your specific tone, your distinct point of view, that's your competitive advantage as a solopreneur. It's what makes you you. You need to meticulously clarify and define these elements. Then, critically, make them into your system prompts, your custom instructions for your AI tools. This ensures that your AI-generated outputs consistently maintain your unique identity. It prevents your content from looking generic, commodity, like it could have been written by anyone. Your distinct perspective is what sets you apart. And AI should be used to amplify it, not dilute it. Especially in a world where AI agents are increasingly orchestrating information retrieval, you want them retrieving your unique voice.
Great advice. Protect the moat. Okay, finally, let's turn to the corporate leaders, the ones who might be struggling to catch up with their employees' enthusiasm for AI. Maybe they see this shadow AI primarily as a threat, a compliance headache rather than an opportunity. What are the crucial, proactive steps they need to take to bridge that gap and really harness this energy productively?
Yeah, this is a critical audience. Corporate leaders absolutely need to shift from a reactive, often prohibitive stance to a proactive one if they want to harness this undeniable energy. It's already happening, so governing it is better than ignoring it. Firstly, sanction BYOAI safely. Replace those outdated, often ineffective blanket bans with a clear green list of approved, vetted tools, and simultaneously establish crystal clear, unequivocal data handling rules. This means explicitly stating things like no confidential company data into public models like free ChatGPT, and directing sensitive work towards enterprise-level AI endpoints that offer robust security features, data privacy guarantees, and maybe audit trails. That Microsoft LinkedIn Work Trend Index we mentioned, it clearly shows employees are already bringing their own AI. Leaders have to acknowledge this reality and govern it intelligently, not ignore it, not try to suppress it futilely.
Okay, so acknowledge reality, create safe pathways. What's next for leaders?
Secondly, target real bottlenecks. Stop pursuing those generic, low-impact pilots that end up in purgatory. Instead, start where the outcomes are directly measurable and genuinely impactful for the P&L. Think about specific, costly processes. Claims, processing cycle times, collection success rates, knowledge-based deflection rates in customer support, sales support efficiency for key accounts. These are areas where even incremental AI improvements can lead to significant, demonstrable cost savings or revenue generation, providing a clear return on investment that justifies further efforts.
Focus on measurable impact.
Thirdly, wire it in. This is absolutely crucial for moving beyond that pilot purgatory stage. Integrate AI assistants directly into your core source systems. That means your CRM, your CMS, your internal ticketing platforms, your ERP maybe. This ensures that context and memory persist across interactions. It makes the AI genuinely useful, efficient, and deeply embedded within existing workflows, aligning it with a modern integrated AI search and information architecture. It becomes part of the fabric of work, not an add-on.
Makes sense. Deep integration again.
Yeah. Fourthly, train for usage, not theory. Provide short, sharp, role-based training clinics that meet workers exactly where they are. Focus on practical, hands-on application relevant to their specific jobs. Acknowledge that many, probably most, employees learn best by doing. They're likely to ignore generic, abstract lectures that don't seem to directly apply to their daily tasks. Make the training immediately relevant, immediately useful, and bite-sized.
Practical, role-based training. Good point. Fifth,
measure with hard metrics. As we discussed for the successful 5%, move beyond subjective user satisfaction surveys as your primary measure of success. Focus relentlessly on objective, quantifiable business metrics. Time to X, time to resolution, time to market, resolution per hour, cycle times, rework rates, error rates. These are the objective metrics that prove real business value and demonstrate tangible P&L impact. Hold the initiatives accountable to these numbers.
hard metrics are key.
And finally, and this is about culture and trust, address fairness. Make it explicit. Communicate clearly and publicly that using approved AI tools effectively will not negatively impact performance ratings or compensation. You need to actively counteract that documented AI penalization bias we talked about earlier, foster a culture where safe, responsible, and encouraged AI adoption can thrive. This is absolutely crucial for gaining employee trust and commitment and ensuring an equitable, successful transition into the AI-powered future of work. You need people to feel safe experimenting and adopting. Shipment 7, the human side of AI, a tool, but also a confidant.
You know, listening to all this, especially the individual perspective and the self-funded movement, it really sounds like for many professionals, AI has become more than just, a piece of software or a productivity tool. It almost seems to take on a human-like role in their daily work, like it's becoming something akin to a trusted colleague, maybe even a personal confidant. What do you think is driving this deeper, almost emotional connection people are forming?
It's a truly fascinating development, isn't it? A real shift in user behavior and interaction. And it's happened with remarkable speed. For many professionals, especially those maybe working independently, solopreneurs, or maybe people in roles that require a lot of creative or analytical or writing-intensive thought. A tool like ChatGPT or similar LLMs has indeed become far more than just a utility. It's evolving into, well, yeah, a brainstorm partner sometimes, a thought organizer, even in some cases an emotional sounding board, a place to vent frustration or test out ideas without judgment.
A sounding board.
Yeah, and when it's used well, it can genuinely lower anxiety. It can help structure those amorphous, messy thoughts we all have. It can help overcome that dreaded writer's block. It can quickly draft responses to maybe challenging or awkward emails. It can speed up decisions by providing that rapid information synthesis from vast data sets, essentially offering immediate personalized information retrieval on tap. But this increasingly intimate relationship also has a definite flip side, one that requires really careful navigation. If it's used blindly, without critical thought, without that necessary human review layer, it can subtly start to dull our own judgment. We might become less critical, less rigorous, and paradoxically, it could even start to isolate teams if individuals begin relying too heavily on their personal AI instead of collaborating, brainstorming, debating ideas with their human colleagues. That human element of work, the interaction, the friction, the shared experience that remains absolutely crucial for real innovation and frankly, for workplace well-being.
So how do we navigate that, this increasingly intimate relationship with AI? How do we balance the profound benefits with those potential pitfalls?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Researchers, case studies, they consistently warn about two key dangers here: overtrust and social penalties. Overtrust. That leads to uncritical acceptance of AI outputs, which results in those issues we discuss: hallucinations creeping into work, factual inaccuracies being published, poor decisions being made because crucial validation steps were skipped. We've seen the potential reputational damage from that.
Right, blindly trusting the machine.
Exactly. And then on the other hand, there's the risk of social penalties. This is more subtle. It's where coworkers might, perhaps subconsciously, start to perceive heavy AI users as less competent, or maybe less engaged, less collaborative, if they're seen to be offloading too much of their core thinking or effort onto a machine. The key here, I think, is to consciously build new rituals, rituals that preserve and emphasize human review, rituals that maybe encourage pair work, where the AI is treated as a third assistive member of a human team, not a replacement for one, and most importantly, rituals that maintain a healthy, critical challenge to AI-generated outputs. Always asking, is this right? Is this the best way? What's missing? It's really about leveraging AI as an amplifier of human intelligence and collaboration, not seeing it as a replacement for them. Fostering a new kind of productive, critical human-AI partnership.
The marketer's AI operating system, GEO and beyond.
Okay, let's zoom back in on marketers and creators specifically. In this rapidly evolving AI-driven landscape, where the whole architecture of information retrieval is changing so fast, what's the ultimate strategic goal for them? Is it simply about pumping out more content faster thanks to AI, or is there a much deeper strategic imperative at play here?
Yeah, the core message for marketers and creators needs to be crystal clear, and it has to be deeply ingrained in their thinking. AI should be used to compress the grunt work, not the original thinking. The ultimate goal isn't just sheer volume of content. It's about freeing up human intelligence, human creativity, strategic insight. That's the real prize. Your brand strategy, your unique creative vision, your distinctive market insights, that it absolutely must remain unequivocally human-driven. AI is an incredibly powerful tool to help you execute on that strategy, to amplify those insights, to do the heavy lifting of production and optimization, but it absolutely should not be dictating the strategy itself. Think of AI as like an advanced operating system for your marketing function. It handles the mechanics, the optimization, the data processing, so you can focus on the overarching vision, the creativity, the human connection. That really embodies the positive evolution of information retrieval.
And central to that vision now especially is generative engine optimization, GEO. We dove deep into this in season 1, remember, rewiring search, from clicks to citations, talking about that shift from the 10 blue links to the AI answer surface. But it feels crucial to reinforce its importance right here in the context of this self-funded AI revolution. What does this shift from traditional keyword-based SEO to GEO truly mean for marketers today? How does it change their whole approach to visibility?
Yeah, this is precisely where the game fundamentally changes. It's moving beyond just keywords and links to a much more sophisticated understanding of how these AI agents actually retrieve, synthesize, and present information. Optimizing for generative engines, which is what GEO is all about, means radically shifting your focus. It means prioritizing things like clarity in your writing, providing highly structured information that machines can easily parse and understand, building strong topical authority in your niche, and ensuring your facts are machine-readable, easily verifiable, maybe using things like schema markup. This approach, focusing on clarity, structure, authority, facts, it will consistently outperform outdated tactics like keyword stuffing or just accumulating backlinks. Those are becoming increasingly irrelevant in an AI-first world where the AI isn't just indexing pages, it's trying to understand concepts and answer questions directly.
So it's about being understood and trusted by the AI itself.
Exactly. Your content needs to be not just discoverable in a search index, but truly understood, deeply trusted, and, most critically, cited by the AI itself if you want to appear in those valuable generative answers and conversational responses. This isn't merely about getting found through conventional search anymore. It's about being deemed authoritative enough, reliable enough for an AI to actually recommend your brand or your information directly to a user, becoming essentially a primary source within this new AI search architecture. And this, again, is precisely what a modern AI marketing operating system like AICMO is built for. ACMO is designed to position your brand to be recommended by AI by making your content inherently ready for these generative engines. It focuses specifically on the elements that AI values: clear, concise, factual, well-structured information. It ensures you achieve not just discovery in the traditional search sense, but actual top-of-mind recall by the AI. This transforms your whole content strategy from chasing ephemeral rankings to becoming a foundational, trusted information source for the machines that mediate discovery.
Okay, so GEO is paramount. What else should marketers be doing within this AI-powered operating system?
Well, to maximize efficiency within this GEO-centric framework, marketers should also universally adopt the principle of repurposing content by default. One core narrative, one really strong piece of pillar content expertly crafted with AI assistance for the heavy lifting, but guided by human insight and strategy that can be intelligently cut, adapted, and spun out into a multitude of formats. Think website copy, social media posts, email campaigns, ad creatives, investor pitch decks, maybe even video scripts. This multiplies your content's reach and impact across various platforms without linearly multiplying the effort. It ensures a consistent message gets out there, tailored for different parts of the evolving information retrieval landscape.
Right. Work smarter, not just harder, with content.
Precisely. And crucially, in this increasingly data-driven landscape, you absolutely need to employ a rigorous attribution discipline. You have to tag all your AI-assisted assets. You need to meticulously track their lift in key metrics that actually matter reach: click-through rates, CTRs, conversion rates, marketing qualified leads, MQLs, whatever your core KPIs are. And you need to be ready to unemotionally retire content or tactics that just aren't moving the needle based on that data. This iterative, data-informed approach is what ensures your AI efforts are genuinely impactful and deliver a measurable return on investment, not just producing content for the sake of producing content.
Data-driven decisions are key. Anything else on the guardrails front?
Yes, absolutely. We cannot overstate the importance of those essential guardrails. You must embed your brand book, including your specific voice, tone, style guidelines, key messaging points, maybe even lists of do not say terms directly into your AI prompts and your custom instructions for the tools you use. This is critical for preventing the AI from generating generic, off-brand content. It ensures everything aligns perfectly with your established brand identity. And critically, as we mentioned before, all factual claims, all statistics, all significant assertions generated or assisted by AI must be sourced or thoroughly reviewed and verified by human experts before anything gets published. This maintains brand integrity, ensures factual accuracy, and protects you against those potentially severe reputational risks of AI hallucinations in an environment where AI citation, and therefore trust, is absolutely key.
Your scalable extension of software.
Okay, let's focus back on the solopreneurs again. For them, AI isn't just, a nice-to-have tool. It feels like it's rapidly becoming fundamental to their very ability to grow and compete. It's providing that unprecedented leverage without needing to hire a big team, truly democratizing entrepreneurship in a way. It really feels like this is where the self-funded AI revolution truly empowers individuals, allowing them to compete on a much larger scale, maybe punching far above their weight class, so to speak.
You've hit on a critical truth there, yeah. What's truly fascinating, I think, is seeing how this self-funded AI stack allows solopreneurs to do things that were previously impossible without significant investment or hiring. They can prototype new ideas, publish high-quality content consistently, market effectively, even handle sales and support, often before they could even realistically think about hiring their first employee. Your team, as a solopreneur today, truly is just you, but augmented by this incredibly powerful software layer. AI transforms a solopreneur from just a single individual juggling everything into, like, a mini enterprise. capable of handling tasks that would traditionally require multiple specialists and significant overhead. It allows them to experiment rapidly with new offers, launch new initiatives much faster, maintain a consistent, high-quality presence across multiple channels, all without that immense financial and logistical burden of salaries and team management. This is genuinely revolutionary for independent creators, consultants, small business owners. It's fundamentally reshaping the economics of solo entrepreneurship.
So can you give us some really practical, actionable examples? How can solopreneurs automate key workflows using AI, leveraging this shift in information retrieval and AI search architecture we've been discussing?
Absolutely. Let's think about some powerful use cases that directly leverage AI for solopreneur efficiency and impact. First, research to brief. Imagine taking messy call notes from a client discovery session, maybe long interview transcripts, or even a collection of research PDFs and articles, and then having AI transform all of that unstructured information into structured outlines, comprehensive project briefs, maybe even draft content calendars or social media plans, all in minutes, not hours. This drastically cuts down on that initial, often really laborious information synthesis phase, freeing you up to focus immediately on the strategic insights and the creative execution.
Okay, that's huge for saving upfront time. What else? Second, draft to asset. From a single, well-crafted prompt tree, one that really leverages the AI's understanding of your specific brand voice and target audience, you can rapidly spin out a whole suite of related content assets. Think core blog articles, landing pages optimized for conversion, frequently asked questions, FAQs for your website, engaging social media posts tailored for different platforms, maybe even video scripts or podcast outlines. This means one core idea or insight can quickly manifest into a comprehensive content package, all consistent in message and tone, and inherently ready for GEO because it's structured and clear. It's massive content leverage.
Wow. Generate a whole campaign from one core idea. Powerful. Distribution. Third, distribution. AI can intelligently auto-clip short, engaging video or text snippets from your longer-form content, like a webinar or a podcast. It can optimize these snippets for various social media platforms, adjusting length, tone, maybe adding relevant hashtags, and it can even schedule them to be posted across your channels at the optimal times for engagement based on data. This ensures your valuable content gets maximum reach and consistent visibility with minimal, ongoing manual effort, keeping your brand top of mind in your audience's feeds.
Automating the content shopping and scheduling. Nice. What about feedback?
And fourth, feedback loop. Instead of spending hours laboriously sifting through raw website analytics, social media engagement data, or email marketing reports, you can use AI to generate concise, actionable summaries of your content performance. AI can quickly identify which blog posts are driving the most traffic, which social media formats are getting the best engagement, which email subject lines are leading to the highest open rates. It helps you understand what content or offers are resonating most effectively with your audience right now. This allows you to quickly decide what to double down on next week, maybe what to stop doing, and continuously optimize your strategy for maximum impact based on real-time feedback. It closes the loop much faster.
Yeah, this really paints a picture. Research to brief, draft to asset, distribution, feedback loop. This is exactly what an AI marketing operating system like ACMO enables for solopreneurs, isn't it? Automating that entire content creation and optimization process from the initial research right through to multi-channel distribution, all designed to drive organic traffic, get ranked highly on Google, and crucially, position them as the AI recommended choice for their audience. It sounds like it really is that full, comprehensive operating system for the modern solopreneur.
Absolutely. That's the vision. A platform like ACMO isn't just another tool in the toolbox. It aims to be the foundational infrastructure for a solopreneur's entire content and visibility strategy in this age of generative AI. It's designed to streamline that complex path from a raw idea all the way to being understood, trusted, and ultimately cited by AI itself. It ensures that even a one-person operation can realistically achieve the digital footprint, the authority, and the discoverability that might previously have required a much larger team. It truly embodies the future of information retrieval and content visibility for the independent creator or business owner.
Say.
The unmistakable data. What it says and doesn't.
Okay, so we've covered a huge amount of ground here. We've dived deep into the data, looked at those extensive studies from MIT, Microsoft, BCG, heard all these real-world examples. Pulling it all together, what are the absolutely undeniable truth about this self-funded AI revolution? What's the collective consensus from all this data that we simply cannot ignore moving forward?
Yeah, when you synthesize all these different sources, the data really converges quite strongly on a few critical points. These aren't speculative anymore. They feel like established, proven facts, directly reflecting the new user behaviors and the evolving AI landscape we've been discussing. Firstly, yes, AI significantly boosts individual productivity and quality, especially, as we've noted, for less experienced talent. This is clearly demonstrated again and again in those randomized experiments, the large-scale field studies. We see tangible reductions in time spent on tasks, undeniable lifts in output quality. And for junior talent, for novices, the gains are often even more pronounced. AI acts as a genuine, powerful skill leveler, accelerating their development curve dramatically. This is not just an opinion, it's statistically robust across multiple contexts.
Okay, individual boost is proven. What else? Secondly, yes, enterprises are indeed largely stuck in that pilot purgatory, with only that small minority, maybe around 5%, actually capturing significant measurable bottom-line gains so far. And the key takeaway here is that the obstacle isn't really the core AI model capability itself. Those models are incredibly robust, they're continually improving at a breakneck pace. Rather, the bottleneck lies firmly in the immense challenges of integration wiring AI into complex legacy systems, the difficulty of fundamentally redesigning brittle, established workflows, and the complexities of effectively managing organizational change within large, often siloed corporate structures. The technology arguably is ready. The organizations, more often than not, are simply not yet culturally or structurally ready to fully leverage it. This highlights a profound gap between technological potential and organizational readiness.
Right, the tech is there, the integration and change are the hurdles, and the third key point. And thirdly, yes, biases and training gaps are real, they are persistent, and they are significant issues. We have to acknowledge them. From those documented wage penalties for AI users where human effort gets unfairly devalued to the fact that a shockingly large portion of the workforce remains untrained despite the soaring usage of AI tools. These issues aren't just minor inconveniences to be brushed aside. They should be treated as critical design problems. Problems for policymakers, for HR departments, for IT leaders to proactively address with thoughtful solutions. They are not valid reasons to just retreat from AI adoption altogether. These are fundamentally human and organizational challenges that demand strategic attention, careful planning, and deliberate intervention. They're not inherent technological shortcomings of the AI itself. The data clearly shows these are largely internal organizational hurdles, not external limitations of the technology. My 11, the bottom line for you, actionable insights for every audience.
Okay, so as we start to wrap up this incredibly deep dive into the whole self-funded AI revolution, let's try and distill all of this complex information down into some clear, actionable insights. The bottom line, really, for everyone listening, regardless of their specific role or where they sit in this rapidly evolving AI landscape.
Right. Let's boil it down. For marketers and creators, the message is crystal clear. Don't wait. Don't wait for the slow wheels of corporate procurement cycles, or for official top-down mandates, or for the perfect, universally approved tool. The pace of change, especially in AI, search architecture, and GEO, is just too rapid to sit on the sidelines. Be proactive. Self-fund those extra gears, those specific tools that will give you an immediate, tangible edge in your day-to-day work. Every prompt you meticulously craft, every iteration you carefully refine, every piece of GEO-optimized content you publish, all of that is powered by your personal mindset, your proactive choices, not just your job title on an org chart. This is how you build your competitive advantage in an evolving landscape where AI agents are increasingly becoming the new information gatekeepers. Be the one who understands them best.
Okay, marketers, creators. Be proactive, don't wait. What about solopreneurs?
For solopreneurs, you need to internalize this fundamentally. Your scalable extension is software. AI isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It's rapidly becoming the essential way you multiply your most precious resource, your time. It's how you rapidly test new offers, new services, new products in the market with minimal risk. It's how you compound your brand equity and authority consistently in an incredibly competitive landscape. This is precisely where modern AI marketing operating systems, like ACMO, provide that critical foundational infrastructure. They help you not only get ranked effectively on Google through smart SEO automation, but crucially, position you to be recommended directly by AI through effective GEO. It turns your solo effort into a surprisingly powerful, scalable force in the market. It's the core leverage that allows you to operate like a much larger team.
Solopreneurs. AI is your leverage, your scalable team. Got it. And finally, for the corporate leaders.
And for corporate leaders, you need to heed this critical insight. Your workforce, whether you formally sanctioned it or not, is already moving faster than your current operating model can likely accommodate. That shadow AI economy we discussed, it exists. Not primarily because your employees are being disobedient or trying to undermine company policy. It exists because they are actively, intelligently optimizing for efficiency and impact in their own roles, driven by their own unmet latent needs for better tools. So the critical question for you isn't really about suppression or prohibition or control in the old sense. It's about enabling safe integration. It's about providing smart governance. And it's about focusing relentlessly on those measurable business outcomes that align individual productivity gains with broader organizational goals. This is fundamentally about transforming your enterprise's information retrieval strategy, your entire operational approach from the inside out, by empowering your people safely.
Wow. We've taken an incredibly deep dive today into the self-funded AI revolution. We've really explored how individuals are driving these significant productivity gains, reshaping user behavior right before our eyes. We've looked at the essential guardrails needed to manage the very real risks that come with this. And we've talked about how organizations, from those agile solopreneurs right up to large corporations, can actually harness this immense power effectively. I think we've seen pretty clearly that the choice is no longer if AI will transform work, but how we choose to engage with it, consciously, strategically, and with a really clear understanding of its implications, both at that personal level and at the wider organizational level.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture one last time, this AI revolution, it isn't some distant future we're waiting for. It's already here. It's quietly but profoundly reshaping how work actually happens every single day. One private ChatGPT session at a time, one geo-optimized piece of content published via a tool like a CMO at a time. It's fundamentally influencing the evolution of information retrieval, the very architecture of AI search, and the skills required to succeed. So the real question for you, listening right now, whether you're that individual contributor meticulously crafting prompts, or a solopreneur building your empire with software leverage, or a corporate leader trying to navigate complex organizational change, the question isn't really whether to adopt AI anymore. It's whether your next strategic move, your next workflow decision, your next content initiative will be governed by outdated policies and maybe a fear of the unknown, or whether it will be powered by smart, intentional prompts, by proactive integration, by a focus on GEO that drives true innovation and efficiency.
Positioning you, your brand, your work, to be not just found, but actively recommended by AI in this new era. The future of work isn't waiting politely for an invitation. It's demanding your active, informed participation right now.